All right, what's up, guys? This is Joe Zaragoza from Code on Maintenance and Military Maintainers Transition Program. My main mission here is to help you guys ensure that you become successful on getting your AMP. Now, there's a couple steps before you get to your AMP. You get your AMP, we can help you obtain it, get the paperwork ready, and the reason I started Code on Maintenance and military maintainers is that to provide a solution for you as a military maintainer looking to transition out of the military, because unfortunately you can't be in the military forever. It's the unfortunate truth, right? So what are you going to do when you get out? And you're relatively young already when you get out of the military. So there is a huge shortage. There's already been a huge news article about it. Um, there's a bunch of research papers, uh, case studies, not case studies, but a research that hey, we're gonna be out of aviation maintenance technicians here pretty soon, and I developed military maintainers because you guys are already have the skills, you have the leadership, you have the you can handle the pressure, safety conscious, and could y'all can be the solution to the aviation maintenance shortage. So what I want to do is connect you to the employer and the employer to the technician, to the veteran, mash them up, match made in heaven. And so, what military maintainers is going to do is be that workforce development program where it's going to be all about military veterans getting into the aviation maintenance and providing the resources, providing opportunities, and this is gonna what I'm gonna do to develop it. And it's gonna take some work. It's a lot of heavy lifting, and doing a lot of infrastructure work and getting it rolled out here in the next week or so. But as far as Code One maintenance, and that's what you're here for, you're taking that first couple steps, right? You're going to get your AMP, and then, or you're going to get your FAA Form 8610-2, right? And then you're going to jump into getting your, uh, what's it called, your AMP, right? So that's where Code One maintenance excels at, is helping guys get their AMP. We have awesome instructors, tons of experience in that field, and they love to teach. So what I'm going to talk about today is just a topic that just popped up in my head, and uh, just what's going to happen. I've seen it a lot of times where, unfortunately, people don't finish their exams. They thought it was hard the first time and they didn't finish it, or they took their time, kind of procrastinated, through the whole process and slowly doing it. Okay, so let's get a couple things straight. Okay. Once you get your FAA Form 8610-2, that doesn't expire. That's for life. Okay. But let's say you haven't got your form yet. Your experience is for life. As long as you have that DD-214 to show that you had some experience, you can still get your FAA Form 8610-2. Okay. And then the tickets, or the FAA Form 8610-2, like I mentioned, is there's no expiration date on it. Okay. So let's remove that out. Now, what does have expiration dates on it, or like any exam, is 2 years. Okay. So let's say you take your general airframe and you never finished your power plant. You never completed the airframe. After 2 years, and there's a date on those sheets, the results, right? There's a date on there when they expire. So if it expires, that gets wiped off. So let's say you do general and airframe, you might as well finish up your orals and practicals for the airframe so you can get the A. Once you receive a rating, that is solidified. Like then that license becomes, there's no expiration date, right? Unless you lose it somehow being stupid. But uh, let's know that once you get to A, even though you didn't get to P, that's good. Okay. But let's say that you get your airframe, you get your general, you get your power plant, you get your orals done, or maybe part of your orals. 2 years go by, that gets wiped off because you didn't finish with a rating. Okay, so if you're the type that needs to take its time, and we've met students like that, they need to take their time. They need to like really take their time to study. That's how they want to do things. Cool, and it can be done. I've seen it happen. Guys take a whole year to get it done, but just don't let those things expire. Like the general, you have to get that done. I've seen guys, and it's up to the DMEs really. You can do just the general airframe, or I'm sorry, general written, general oral, and general practical. Get that out of the way, and then airframe or power plant. It just depends on the rules, right? How those guys want to do it. Um, let's see. Or I don't know if that was actually true. I think he got all the writtens done, but then did the orals for the general, and then he came back for power plant or airframe, something like that. It was kind of weird, but it was only one time I've seen it happen. Um, but either way, if you finished it within 2 years, you're good to go. So don't if it can go for either way. You can if you do power plant, you never got your airframe done. That's okay. You got your rating, all right? And then you can go back and get your airframe. So you knock out your writtens for the airframe, and then the orals and practicals for that rating. So I've seen it a couple of times where guys had to redo the whole thing, and it sucks. It sucks. You have to restudy all that stuff. So if you get started, get it done. Whether if it's with just one rating or two or both of them, get it done. I highly recommend it. And so, and it's okay. It's rare that we have students that that don't they just have a hard time. That when you work on something so much, like you're working on some hydraulic tubings, they can be finicky. They be very, very tough. And then you've been working on it for 8 hours, and sometimes you just need to take a step back, go get some water, go get an energy drink, go get a Monster, maybe have lunch, and then you get back from your little break, and it pops in pretty easy. And that's the same thing with studying. Sometimes like a guy was trying to force it, force it, force it. I was like, hey, step back, and don't even study. Just step back and get back into it. And he passed. I don't know what that is, but just taking a break, reevaluating everything. Maybe the brain just needed to take a break and get back to it. I do that sometimes where I'm struggling with something, and I just step back, take a break, get a breather, and get back into it. So don't let the failures bother you. Everybody's different. Some guys have picture memory. I've had guys who just sit there chatting it up with me the whole time, and the next day he passes the exams. Like the fudge. And then some people, they need to take a long time. They just need to take their time doing, their thing. Now I kind of go against it, but because I guess it's just my ego where like I know this system works, and I want you to. I do not want you to leave. You came to my class because you're going to get it done in 2 weeks, and that's my mindset. And I'm over here, me and the instructors, we're going to work our asses off to make sure you pass and get it done in 2 weeks. But sometimes, it's just rarely, you need an extra week. So exams expire after 2 years. Get it done. And if you fail, if you, let's say you're in the military, right? And whether you're still serving or you're a veteran, the FAA will pay for your exams, and it doesn't mean how many times you failed. They'll reimburse you. Okay. I know there's some programs out there um, that you had to pay them back if you fail. You don't need to tell them the whole story. Hint, hint. Like they don't need to know. They didn't know that you passed, and that's it, right? So um, it's it becomes we have the paperwork to help you get reimbursed for all that stuff, and when we have to go that way, it's good that we have the VA to help you do that. If you don't have opportunities in the military because of the time, or you just don't have those benefits, um, yeah, we're here to help you make it. I hate to see things come out of pocket, but just depending, it's just depending. You just have to repay, and you have to wait. If you failed an exam, you have to wait 24 hours um, to redo it. And in that time, you can study and don't try to go party. Don't do what you did before. Just study over what you missed. And um, there's a lot of times it's not the same exam type of exam, so just gotta go through all of it. Okay, and there's codes on there that'll tell you which ones you missed. So if you weren't strong there, you know. Uh, Study up to brush on it. We've had guys not study a whole section because they thought they were pretty strong, like hydraulics. Makes sense, but um, you can get pretty close with the questions. So um, no, study everything. You have to study everything. All right. So that's pretty much what happens. So recap is after 2 years, um, it expires. The way to prevent it is finish all the exams to finish, to close that time. But let's say, to kind of take your time, but not let it go over, let it expire. You can knock out one of your ratings, whether it's airframe or power plant. You'll have to do the general and let's say airframe, for an example. Finish that out. You can go back and do the other rating, whatever you didn't do. Okay. And then, um, oh, note is if you fail an exam, you have to have an A&P review it. You have to have the A&P to go over it with them. What you missed, and however that A&P wants to do it. If he just wants to pencil whip you, cool. If not, it has to be a wet signature and say that, yeah, I know what I missed. I reviewed it, and I'm ready to take this exam. Cool. Usually, what we do is we give them a practice exam to make sure they're good to go. And then if they prove it, they can finish that, awesome. Um, but we try to do is look at over all your work, your scorecards, checklists, and make sure that it's all good to go before you even get into the exam. Because we want you to do it right the first time. Pass the first time. Okay. So it's okay. Um, so yeah, if you fail, you need an A&P to sign you off. And then okay, so we talked about expiration, how not to get expired. We told you what happens when you do fail, 24 hours. A&P, so you gotta have that A&P signed off, and you can get back in the saddle and test again. So that's pretty much it. If you're, it's gonna cost you the same. There's no discount. There's no discount if you miss. So just let you know, that's another little tip there. So. Hope this was helpful to you on how to deal. I know it was all over the place. It's just a question that was asked, and I wanted to go over it real quick. And I thought I had sorted out my brain, but they, that wasn't the case. However, hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any questions about it, reach out to me. I can help you up with a community that's willing to help you with your AMP. It's free, and all the resources available are free. And we're here to, help you become successful in your AMP. Last thing is, if you watched it this far, we have an AMP course online starting next week, March 9th. Let's knock it out. And if you have questions, reach out to me. I can help you guys out. Pulling chalks.